Hello there, it's your Wisconsin Wine Guy back again with another wine review. And this is going to be a very interesting one here. I mean, I've done some Robert Mondavi reviews before, but this is going to be Robert Mondavi. It's still the private selection, but they've rebranded themselves, rebranded private selection, and going to now call it Vint. You know, a dedication, so to speak, to over 30 years of winemaking, you know, Robert Mondavi. You know, and bringing back some classic styles of classic tastes, I like to call it. You know, but the Buttery Chardonnay, you may have had this under the private selection, but if you're not, you know, Vint, you know, they're going full force on this. The Buttery Chardonnay, it would say here, this is a 2022. In fact, I believe this would be my first time tasting a Buttery Chardonnay from Robert Mondavi in general. But we're going to try this today. And for those who are new, these are wines that you can purchase wherever you shop for wine, liquor store, grocery store, and some wine shops. I give them a taste, let you know what I think about this wine. So you like a simple grading system, thumb grading system. How scientific is that? Thumbs up. Says recommend that wine. It's a pretty solid wine. Can't go wrong with it. 3/4 says, you know, I was on the fence about it, you know, but as I drink more and more of it because I had it at a party, I would share with my friends. Halfway, something about that wine just did not work for me. And I'll let you know why it didn't work for me. It doesn't make it a bad wine. It just didn't work for me. Thumbs down, always an easy one, right? Can't go wrong with that. All right, so let's get to it. Again, as I said, Vint, a new branding, a new packaging, you know, for the private selection from Robert Mondavi. This is the Buttery Chardonnay. They do a Cabernet, Merlot, I believe a Pinot Noir as well. And then they have Vint Central Coast. Okay, so don't get it confused. Make sure you pay attention to the labels when you're looking. So you're still going to have some private selections out there with the black label, but then you have the Vint label, then you have the Vint Central Coast. You know, so the grapes, you know, for the California, are going to be sourced from different vineyards throughout California, probably primary or majority from the Central Coast in this case. Though it's not, doesn't say Central Coast here, it just simply says California. All right, so California AVA. You can find this retail anywhere from on sale at $13.99 to off sale to maybe $21 or $22.99. All right, you're coming in alcohol at 13.5%. So let's get to it. Screw cap again. Okay, screw caps are really starting to dominate a lot of wines, and I want to say wines in a certain price range. Okay, so let's say, you know, you'll find wines at the lower echelon, those wines on the bottom shelf. Although some stores, at least in my area, started to mix up those shelves down. There was a time when the bottom shelf were the $2.99 to $7.99 wines, then you went up the tier. So now they're getting all mixed up, but you will find a lot of screw cap wines in that lower tier, you know, lower shelf. Then like the second and third shelf, depending on how many shelves your store has, you'll find a mixture of screw cap and cork, whether it be natural or synthetic cork. On the top shelf, you know, you'll find very few screw caps, but you'll find a lot of corks, whether it be natural or synthetic. Okay, but screw caps have come into their own and have made a difference in your wine drinking pleasures. All right, so let's get to it. That sounded like a commercial, didn't it? A commercial for corks and screw caps. So, now, here's the idea behind the Buttery Chardonnay. You know, most of us will see a wine if it says butter on it, especially if it's a Chardonnay. We're going to run for the hills, man. Run for the hills. But, you know, I'm a California born and raised, you know, and back when California dominated the wine industry for Chardonnays. That started in the 70s, right? 1976, Chateau Montelena, right? Okay, but then something happened from 76 to the early to mid 80s, and Chardonnay was the number one grape. Probably the only other grape that was as popular as Chardonnay was Merlot at that time. There was no Pinot Noir to speak about. It was Chardonnay or Merlot. So from 76 to the early to mid 80s, you know, something happened. You know, Chardonnay, everybody was drinking Chardonnay. You know, it was that rich, oaky, buttery, creamy type of Chardonnay. That was the standard for Chardonnay. So much so that when other wine regions want something you never heard of, they've been around for a while but didn't hear of them. Washington come out with their Chardonnays from that area. Chardonnays were like rich and creamy and buttery. Even Australia, rich, creamy, and buttery. And then you started going into other regions, other countries, rich, creamy, buttery, Chardonnay. Everybody wanted to emulate California because California was the standard for that for a lot of years. It was the standard. But then something happened. Okay, so now we're going to come to the 80s, going through all the 80s and the 90s. Something happened with Chardonnay. That style became so popular that you started getting a lot of wines made at a lower price point in bulk that emulated that style. Hear what I said, emulated that style. Now see, I tried, the old school classic type of Chardonnays, but it had a nice balance to it, a very nice balance. You still had that richness, that creaminess, but you still had that presence of fruit, still had nice acidity, still had a very nice balance, full of palate, full of flavor to it. But it wasn't sweet. You hear that? What was happening to that style of Chardonnays, because it was serious competition. People started taking shortcuts. Oak became very expensive. Everybody knew that people liked the Chardonnay. So instead of letting it develop in time, there was a lot of shortcuts taken to produce a style, create a style at various price points. But what came out of that in most cases was a creamy, buttery, overly oaked, sweet type Chardonnay. Ruined it. But all wasn't lost, because the Australians come through and says, we got you. Unoaked Chardonnay. Refresh Unoaked Chardonnay, which takes us back, to French Chardonnays. We had some unoaked Chardonnays where you have that more minerality taste to it, and then some Chardonnays were oak. We went back to that school of classic tasting Chardonnays. People were like bored and dead and tired of that Chardonnay. So it was terrible. It was unfortunate, because what happened with that also, those truly remarkable, very well made, balanced, classical California style Chardonnays was getting lost in the shuffle. Getting lost in the shuffle, all of those below quality type Chardonnays. And all of a sudden, people started saying, that's Chardonnay, that sweet, thick, buttery, oaky, disgusting Chardonnay. That's what started happening. All right? So, I wanted to give you that little bit of history about Chardonnay. Now, as far as domestic Chardonnay goes, now Chardonnay is coming to its own. I would say after going through that whole period, now you'll find some very well balanced Chardonnays. You still get that hint of the classic old school Chardonnay, but the hints of that buttery, that malolactic fermentation takes place, and having good oak, or a balance of American and French oak, but still giving you those elements of that old school classic style Chardonnay. But you still will find some of those that will give you that overly oak, overly buttery, overly rich, creamy, sweet style Chardonnay. So, Vint's concept was to take you back to a time of that classic California style Chardonnay. Alcohol, 13.5% if I didn't give it to you. Again, the vintage here is 2022. Oh, I already poured. Look at there. I got all caught up in my story. Didn't realize I poured already. So look at it. So we have this color here. Now, if you're old school Chardonnay drinker like me, you recognize that color, right? Let's put it next to the bottle here. All right, you recognize that color, that sunshine yellow, straw yellow color. You recognize that. I mean, that was like the color for Chardonnay back in the day, going to the 80s. Now, give it a swirl, and let's get a nose. Here, you get those elements of yesteryear. Just take it deep. Okay, on the nose, definitely that buttery, creamy nose, spicy oak, You do pick up some citrus fruit. For me, a little bit of white peach. So on the nose, those elements are definitely there. Okay? Maybe some apple, pear. Those elements are definitely there. In which, because of the creativity and the creation or recreating that style, going through that time, all those under quality Chardonnays, it was easy to create that nose. But the proof was always in the taste. Remember that. What do I say? Let your palate be the guide. Proof is always in the taste, which brings us to our first step in our tasting of this Vint Chardonnay by Robert Mondavi. Acidity. No acidity, no play. Here we go. Second sip, we taste. Okay. Nice acidity. Makes my mouth water. So that's great. Now, let's get to the taste. Now, I totally get what they were trying to do here, or what they were wanting to do here, taking you back. And I do go back when tasting the Vint Chardonnay. However, the acidity is there still. You still get that buttery taste. You still get that oaky taste. But to me, it has that creamy, rich, buttery sweetness to it. And then, what is that? Those Pixel sticks with the Kool-Aid. That was the taste that I started getting off of Chardonnays after a while. That I had started going up the ladder. As time moved forward, you had one tier, then you had the second tier, then you had third, fourth, and fifth tiers of different brands from the same company, so it was just, oh my gosh. So, here's what we got. I do like the throwback, however, it's not a throwback to that time of that true classical balanced style Chardonnay, for me. Some may like it, some may enjoy it. Definitely dig the memories. You may dig the memories, but it does have a dry finish, but it doesn't finish too good for me. It coats the mouth for sure, just like that style. So let's get to it. Wisconsin wine, guys. I'm going to give this halfway. I'm not going to down thumb it, because some people may enjoy this, but halfway for me, because I've had the chance to taste a really good classical style California Chardonnay versus the junk stuff, and then just drinking Chardonnays over the years and watch this evolution for domestic Chardonnays, even international, that I see what they were trying to do here. And some people's you're gonna taste this and you're like, oh my God, I get it, I feel it, I taste it. And then some gonna be like, this is the style that I just didn't like. This is the thing that turned me off of Chardonnay. So halfway for me on this is probably gonna be great with food. Bring back those memories of cream sauces, rich dishes, etc. It's gonna do all of that. But on its own, it's a style that this particular style here would be one that I would tire and bore, and I couldn't drink anymore. And in fact, it'd be like a yuck feeling in my throat. So there you have it. Halfway for me for the Vint Buttery Chardonnay. It doesn't mean anything that says butter is not going to be good, but in this case, halfway. There you have it. Give it a taste. Let me and all the rest of us know what you think. And it's your Wisconsin wine guy saying to you, as always, you can totally smell history. Let your palate be the guide for selecting your wine. I'll see you next time. Ciao.